Welcome to another episode of the Biker PM. I'm your host, Anthony Pavelich. Today I have with me Tenin Terrell. She's an award-winning creative strategist, content creator, and communicator whose creative blueprint merges entertainment, business, and lifestyle. Tenin has been featured in Forbes and Reader's Digest and co-owns the Creative Suite, a family-operated production studio and creative agency to help clients further their business, brands, and big ideas with custom marketing solutions. Tenin is also the creator of FashionWorks, a children's enrichment franchise that equips owners to start and run their own creative learning business from home. And although she has performed on stage with Sam Smith, had her original music licensed by NBC Universal, and held lead roles in over a dozen mainstage musicals, her most fulfilling role are as a wife and mom to her husband and two daughters. So let's get started. Hi, Tenin. Thank you for joining me today. How are you?
I'm good, Anthony. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Where are you located at?
I'm in New Jersey. I'm located in Plainfield, New Jersey. So it's like central north. It's like north of the central of the state, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. And my family's all well. So there are no complaints on my end.
Yeah. Good, good. Yeah, my mom lives in Rochester, New York, so
Oh,
I
nice.
live in
Okay.
Canada, so I haven't gone and seen her lately because of
Yeah.
I mean, I can legally go because I'm a dual citizen, but it's a whole coming back on quarantine for 2 weeks and it's just crazy. And she's got health issues, so I don't want to go into her home right now. So tell me a little bit about you and your company, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, the Creative Suite is a boutique productions and creative agency. And I like to tell the little bit of backstory about it is that in 2009, I was studying musical theater at Kane University. And about 2 years into my matriculation, I was like, I want to be Beyonce. So I went out there to try to go. I was like, I'm gonna go try my hand at being a superstar. And so I started producing music out of the corner of my mother's dining room. And so for that next year, from 2009, like the end of 2009 to February 2011, I produced music out the corner of my mother's dining room. And we leveraged that music all the way to the We TV boardroom. And so how we got there was we started doing like grassroots DIY guerrilla marketing and PR. I ended up being on TLC, the TLC network, Oxygen Network, season premiere of a show called Jersey Couture. We were invited onto the Dr. Oz show, and all of this stuff happened from the corner of my mother's dining room. And so, even though I didn't become Beyonce, what I did become was a sort of digital strategist at that time. And so, because of that success we had a lot of people coming to us who were also starting businesses and looking to get their businesses, brands, and big ideas out there. And we wound up incorporating an agency. And that is what the Creative Suite now is now. 10 years later, we work with clients, owners, creatives, anyone who has a business, brand, or big idea that they want to get out into the world.
That's great. It's an interesting transition from what you thought you wanted to be and where you ended up. So, is there any plan to go back and try your hand still at doing the music?
I love that question. You asked it like you almost know. You know how it is when you're multi-passionate, let's say.
Yes.
Yes, hopefully I hope to get back to in fact, honestly, in the creative suite, we actually have a room like a 9 by 10 room that we're going to convert into a sound room so people can either do podcasting, but it's mainly so that we can record, produce music digitally, so it'll be a vocal cutting room. And my music is straight up like it's R&B, but I come from the gospel church background,
Hmm.
and so it's really upbeat type of music and feel good music. So hopefully, Anthony, I might get there.
Well, that's the thing is you always have to follow your passion. Your passion sometimes may not go the road you may expect it to. You may have a couple of forks in the road, but sometimes you can always find your way back onto the original road. But now you have everything you need to produce it yourself.
Exactly. The main thing, like people do still ask us about the music and stuff, but I think what you just said is like so important. When we started what the business 9 years ago, when we started down the path, let's say 9 years, 10 years ago now, we didn't have any of the stuff. Like we didn't know what we were doing. We were really like just throwing darts in the dark and trying to land on opportunities that would just allow us to expose the music or the gift or the talent, whatever. And now it's different. Now we've been with small businesses that have 200 or less employees,
Mhm.
200 employees here and in Asia that are trying to grow their brand. We've worked with clients who were mental health experts who went from 0 clients to now they have 30 clients and they're trying to. We've been in all these like little pockets of industry and help them market and build their business. And so we'd have a completely different strategy going forward to build that music brand or product. So you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, I've interviewed somebody recently who's started a business, and it's interesting because he's built his education around where he eventually wants to be, and what he wants to do from different neuroscience and law school and different things that help him with his business. And you've done the very similar thing where you've taken this business and you've learned how to do everything that's going to help you grow your business and maybe even grow your passion later because now you know how it's done and you're not in the background guessing or putting your faith in somebody else that they're going to actually do what's needed. You know what's needed.
Exactly. It's like, people say being in the creative, like creative design, creative business industry is creative. And so we always think of it as freestyle. There's no form or not much form or order. But I really try to be methodical in my work, especially with my clients. And there is a method to like promoting a product, to designing something, developing it, cultivating an audience, and really delivering it at a high level. And there's a process
Mhm.
to it. So you're right. That's going to be interesting. It's really something I want to undertake because it's something I haven't done yet. Even though I had that success early on, I would benchmark it differently now. And I really want to give it a shot. So now you're kind of like reigniting that little marketer in me
Yeah.
who wants to go
Well,
and win some.
Well, it's interesting because you lead me to a good question, and that that we're going to talk about anyways. Is you talk about all your clients and how you have a method with them. It's methodical. Some of our listeners, are looking at ways to manage everything, their clients in a good way. How do you manage your clients in the projects you do it? What tools do you use?
Okay, the tools I love to use. I am a Google head, and I say this like how people are like like they're Apple evangelists or they're this product ambassador. They love it. For me, I love Google Suite, so it's all like I'm almost in there most of my day because it's my email engine, all my domains. It's like a lot to me. So one of the tools though that I've started incorporating with Google Suite, because I think my favorite Google app is Gmail, and then Google Docs is Asana. So I use that because it's allowed me to set up different dashboards for each of my companies. So of course, the Creative Suite is my primary business. I do have another company called Fashion Works. It's a children's enrichment business. And then, you have your other personal projects here and there. So I love using Asana because I'm able to just create task lists, assign them to people. So I use Asana, I use Gmail, I use Google Suite. And then honestly, I use Dubsado, Dubsado.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's like a CRM.
Okay.
What I like about them is they're a little lesser known, but they're really approachable and they're really responsive. So when I first started with them a couple years ago, there were like things that I would be like, "Hey, can y'all make this?" And here we are a couple years later, and that's the part of the program. So I use those to just kind of manage like contracts, invoices with clients. To be honest, I'm always innovating the process because when I think I've got it locked down, I'll spend like the next 3 months on a few projects with clients. And I'm like, we keep getting stuck here.
Do you feel overwhelmed, overstimulated, and overworked? There's so much you need to do, but you don't know what the best way to do it is? And you're not sure where all your time goes each week? Jump on over to my website, pavproconsulting.com. You can download my free PDF, The 5 Proven Strategies to Steal Back Lost Time and Money in Your Business. And while you're there, you can book a free process discovery session. pavproconsulting.com. Move forward with confidence, focus, and productivity. In the project management world, it's like using lessons learned to improve your processes. And too many people, and I've said this many times, and I teach project management at a college here. Those lessons learned and going back and reviewing what didn't go so well is very important to change what you're doing and to help improve. And too many companies I know do that. They do that process, but they never takes them anywhere. They file it away and then never revisit it.
Yeah, that's what I was exactly what I was trying to say is that so I find that when I get to a sticking point with clients or I'm having the same issue with communication, I like to examine the process and say, okay, well, we need to create something that's going to address this, because working one-on-one with clients, whether you work with them, as individuals or working with companies, scope creep, like the project scope, when it's just growing and is the death of you and the project. Y'all both
Oh
dying.
yeah, I tell my
Because
students that I have two pet peeves when it comes to project management: scope creep and communication, because two important things in projects.
it is so important. And I've realized when I first started, I was so hungry for the work and for the money, to, let's be honest, that I took anything on, and I would just, like, as people threw stuff at me and into the project, I would just accept it and keep going. But now, because I'm so cautious of it and I'm protective of my energy, my work, and that of the people I work with a lot of contractors, and I have some interns. That's one of the biggest things that I'm always trying to protect, which means that if I ever find that, hey, whenever we get to this step in the process, onboarding clients, this is taking so long, or we're getting a lot of back and forth here, I try to innovate to solve that. Not innovate in the big sense of the word, but I'm looking to create something or put something in place that handles that without us losing that time, because time is money. And that's something I've grown to really value now in a real way. Like, what do my books say at the end of the month? That matters.
Yeah. See,
And
and it's so important, and that's where I started that's where I started the coaching side of my business, was for, because you've learned to understand that scope creep. You have to know how to control scope, because a lot of entrepreneurs were just like you in the beginning, that they strive to just take everything, and people want to change things. Yeah, sure, I can do it, but they don't understand how that
yep,
affects their bottom line and their time. And so it's where I've started wanting to coach entrepreneurs until they do scale to hand it off to somebody else to handle it for them, that you have to know how to control that, because you may be hungry and you may want the work, but sometimes it's not worth it because you're going to lose money.
exactly. And I didn't value that. To be honest, I thought it was it is I feel almost a little embarrassed to say, but I didn't think that was important to do in the beginning. I thought, like, big bad business person want to make money and make it about money. And so I love being able to sit here 10 years later, my maturity as a business owner, to be like, no, and it's not just about the money, it's about your people, it's about your creativity, it's about your product, whether it's a physical product or a
It's your
service.
reputation.
And exactly, one of the big things, I say all that to say, one of the big things that I've done is I have a questionnaire that every client I work with has to fill out, whether they're a graphic design client, web design, whether they simply want content creation, they all have to fill it out. Some people really, I've had clients be like, "Woo, girl, this is a lot. This is a week or two to complete." And I'm like, "Good," because that week or two would have been literally 40 hours of work of me going back and forth with you over strategies and emails and
It makes them think, and it helps make the relationship better between you and that client, and you have a clear direction then of where you're taking your client. Because without that, the client, and I love that, because without that, the client is just going to come in and constantly be like, well, what about this, what about this, what about this, and it's going to take forever to get anything done.
yep. Even before, I used to do a lot. Like, I would do a lot of strategizing with people before I even said, okay, well, it's contract time. Not that's how I said it, but now it's different because you're a project manager. I'm so excited to talk about this because I glean from people like you who are experts in this field. But one of the things I love to do is you get 30 minutes to an hour with us in the beginning. Like, our workflow is just so, like, I literally have a sheet printed out on paper, like, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's really changed how we work because everyone's empowered. Our whole team is empowered, and our clients, because I send it to our clients too, they know what's up, and it helps them to trust us to know that we have so much structure going on.
Yeah, it gives them faith that they're in good hands. And I think that's the
Yep.
one thing that I talk to people about, is that having good policies in place help your business run smoothly and not worry about what's going to happen next. You can basically put your business on autopilot for you and your team, because everybody understands what's happening, and you're transparent with your clients about it, so they understand. And then they're not like sitting back wondering, well, what's going on? Where are we at?
Exactly. What I love about what you said is everyone's in good hands. And it made me think about, I've heard someone say, this may not be the exact quote and I can't remember who, but they were like, if you can't leave your company and the company keeps running, then you only have a job. You don't have a
Yeah.
company. And that kind of like pierced me. And I was like, ooh, you know, but it's true. And now as I get to this point, 10 years in, I have other endeavors and I want to expand myself. Like I want to contribute to other organizations in different ways. I need to be able to leave this business sometimes and it still runs
And
smoothly.
take a
And I
vacation even.
cannot come on, Anthony, vacation, vacay
I
anywhere.
know, especially right now, it would be,
You're right.
right now, it's funny because we're going away to a cottage for 5 days, but I'm still going to do some work, but I mean, at least it's a change of scenery, at least right now.
Exactly. At least you can do that. And you're so right. Just being able to do that without going crazy, everything hitting the fan is like, it's wonderful and it's a gift. So, like, I just want to encourage maybe somebody who's listening who is struggling with putting in the effort to set this up, do it because it's a gift to yourself and to your business. But, like, getting that free time back to just have a little ease in your week and your day, in your days is like so worth it. So y'all get it together.
Yeah, and it's not difficult to write the processes. I wrote an article on LinkedIn probably about a month or so ago, and I have a second part that I'm working on now. But that's how different ways that you can just put processes together and record them easily without having to sit down and worry about missing things. Because there are different ways you can do it and capture it, and then it's written, and it's so much easier when you bring on new teammates to here. This is how we do things, and there's no confusion. Everybody expectations are set. They know what's happening. It's so vital to keep the business going.
It is.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Biker PM. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. And remember, if you're an entrepreneur that wants to be with like-minded individuals and improving their project management skills, join the Biker PM Facebook group. Until next time.